Hey y'all, it's Moonlight Cowboy, and I am going to now teach you how to build underground or to break into stuff to build. This is going to be a fun one for me. I'm basically doing this because there's a lot of people saying, like, oh, if you build underground, you're going to get in trouble and stuff. Well, I've been doing this YouTube channel for over 5 years, haven't gotten in trouble yet. Just don't do any kind of building tricks that would then exploit things like farming or trying to glitch or dupe or anything like that. So that would be my one thing that I would say don't do, just out of pure like integrity, right? So first things first, get underground. There's a couple ways to do it. This is the one of the most common, where you take a set of stairs, you put on that little bass violin thing, and you just, shift it over to a lower spot to where, like, you can get to the top of this violin piece right here. And yeah, you can get underground, then you can add more stairs and then build. This is just a way that I get underground. I don't really use this as like the start of my build per se. You'll see what I'm talking about because I'll give you some examples. The other really common method is to use this thing over here. This is the symptomatic. And I do like the way that this looks aesthetically if I'm going to keep this as an entrance. So I do use this quite often. And all I'm doing here is I took that pressure plate, I moved it over a touch so that way it depressed the pressure plate. No, it's not sad, it's just depressed. Anyways, so then I'm just merging it into a rug. It doesn't have to be the round one, it can be any rug, any mat. But I like this because it gives me a little bit more area. Like when it gets this like stuck on something, see how it's turning red and I kind of rotated it out. So just for the purposes of getting underground without like using this as like a decor piece or anything, this rug looks really good for that. And I don't need it to be centered because this isn't for perfection, right? Not right now. I'm just showing you how to do this. So once I find the little spot that I want to do this at, I can basically move it around. That's an advantage of this. The disadvantage to using this is you can't build off of it like you can with the stairs. So those are kind of my two methods for getting underground. But when I'm really trying to get underground and I know I'm going to be deleting the thing, I like using like other things like these showers, for example. Why? A, because they take up less resources, and B, the shower isn't quite as wide as the symptomatic, so it doesn't cost as much. Yeah, you can get it down a little easier in like a tight spot. Of course, I would never be using this as like the entrance to my camp, but as you can see here, it goes down a little easier than the symptomatic because it's not quite as wide. At least at the base, at the top, it goes out a little bit, but that actually is advantageous because it sticks out more, so it's easier to grab when you are trying to go underground. So yeah, I like using that shower for that. And there's anything really with like an animation you can use to break into stuff. We're going to touch on some of that later as well because I'm going to teach you how to break into some buildings. One or two out in the wasteland are actually pretty cool inside, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So in this case, with that shower, if you don't run towards the shower, you will fall to your death, unlike the symptomatic. So see what I do right here. I basically just, when I come out, I can land on this little spot here, and then I can do some building. Now you're like, Moonlight Cowboy, how do you build off of the shower? Well, this is how I would build off of that. I would use my stair post blueprint, and then I'd add a couple more, stair posts to the bottom of it, and then add a catwalk. Once I have catwalks in place, I will then add, like, say, a wall. Yep. I will need to get that wall to be kind of pushed out a little bit more, or hop down, like so. And now you're like, well, what are you going to do about this wall? Well, nothing right now because I realize that the wall is probably too close to do what I want to do. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to extend these catwalks out a little bit more to add my wall. And the wall isn't going to stay. The wall is just so I can get my roofs in. So there's two schools of thought when you're building up in the sky, or in this case underground. You can use floors, but then you're going to have stairs linked to them. Which, for me, I don't always use stairs in my camp, so it's kind of a pain. The other alternative is to use roofs as your floors. And if you have these RIP roofs, which are pretty sweet, they actually kind of look like floors. I use them all the time. Now I'm showing you how you can go up or down on your level. Notice I was adding them down at an angle, and when I did that, I'm able to do that, bam. And now I've got them as the floor to that wall. And I can do the opposite as well. I can actually raise roofs up. I've got a ton of roof tutorials, so I'm really not going to go into like the whole like science behind how roofs work, because I think I've kind of beat that into the dirt. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you how to put doors on these walls. So when you have a wall and you decide you're going to keep it in place like I just did, I'm going to remove that roof though. You're not going to be able to add the door directly to it, unlike a free place wall. So on a free place wall, because it's sitting level, I would be able to add a door right away to this thing. There we go. So see it turns, you know, blue or green, what have you. But there it turns red. That's because it's synced down into the floor slightly. So I will show you how to get around that real quick in case you want to do like a roof as floor build down here. So all you're going to do is you're going to snap a roof to the bottom of it. It can't be a doorway. It has to be a wall. You're going to snap one to the bottom of it at an angle. Like so. If I can get over there, there we go. And then once I do that, I can then add a flat roof like so. And what this did, it brought the level of the roof down a touch. And now I'll be able to add a wall, or I'm sorry, add a door to this thing. Now I could also remove my other roof as floors and just make this the base now, because now I know for a fact I'll be able to add the door. See, it turns green and I was able to add it. The catch is though, if I wanted to use the roof that I'm standing on right now as the floor, what I'd have to do is I'd have to turn that door into something that would allow me to like bypass it, like something that opens up or something that breaks out of the way. And then I would have to turn that wall into, like, say, the Abandoned Mine set, which is one of my favorite sets for building, and then destroy it once it's at that horizontal, wait, for diagonal. I don't know. I'm an idiot. So once it's diagonal, see, I can snap the roof right there. I'm not really with it today. I apologize. It is football season for those of you who watch football. Go Saints, who dat? So that's been my primary focus. But anyways, yeah, as you can see here, I got my door in and I've got my wall in, and all is good in the universe if I wanted to do a build down here. So from there, all you'd have to do is add walls, roofs, doors, wherever you want. I have plenty of videos on free placing walls and all of the wall tricks and all of the roof tricks, so please look at those if you have any questions on how to do all of the wall magic stuff, or even the stair post stuff. I've got I want to say I've got over like 30 or 40 tutorials, something like that, so dig in if you're looking to learn how to build more like a pro, or more like me, which I wouldn't necessarily call myself a pro. I'd just say I'm pretty decent. And then also you could turn the wall into a full wall with the door attached. As long as it's the red barn set, you can then add another doorway to it, so that way you can double wall too. I just showed that. So anyhow, that's how that looks. We're going to not do this build. I just wanted to show you real quick though. Remember, I promised I was going to show you how to go down and go up with the roofs. So this is me going down with the roofs. As you can see, I was able to get down, and then look, I was able to angle them back up, like so, and look, I can get back up too. So if you need to lower or raise your flooring if you're using roofs, I just wanted to show you that real quick, so you didn't have to refer to one of my other videos for something that's pretty simple. So now I'm going to show you a couple places that I do like to build underground at. I like to build underground like at this spot right here, because it has a big hill that goes up, and I'll show you why here in a minute, but I like to build in these kind of spots. I don't like to go straight down and use a bunch of stairs to get down to my build. I want it to feel a little bit more natural than that. So as I look for my violin, because obviously I didn't do very well in keeping my inventory clean for this tutorial. Once I get that into place, I can move my stairs over here. I only needed to use one foundation because I put it at the kind of the perfect spot. It wasn't intentional, actually. That was kind of just luck. But yeah, if you're on a hill, you can use just the one foundation instead of two to move your ladder over. Now, this is a spot that I like because of this little like alcove under here that you can build into. And once you go underground, the rocks turn like intangible. They're not invisible. So it actually kind of gives you a really cool effect. So I'm going to use regular floors in this to start this build out. To get it under, I'm going to use my camp device, and I'm going to just kind of put, and then I can snap my my foundation through. And then once that's kind of broken that barrier of the rocks, I can just start snapping them in underground. And they're near water level, but not so far down that I can't place things. You know, sometimes you try and place things on foundations like cannot be placed into water. So, and then after placing a bunch of those, there, see, I can kind of put a whole bunch of floors in there, and that'll actually save me some budget. Now, remember when I said I used this thing, the symptomatic sometimes as a doorway? See, I put that on a rug right there. And then I can go ahead and remove those things. And now, now that I have a way in, I don't need the stairs anymore. So because I put it on the side of a hill, it basically walks me into my little underground map. That's why I like these hill spots. But as you see here, look, you can put the walls through there. There's no trickery involved. Once you're underground, you can kind of just do whatever. I can go up with them, whatnot. I did want to touch on this real quick. With the symptomatic, to get it into the rocks, it is a little trickier unless you do put the rug. So if you notice before, I had it on the rug and then I had moved it into the rock position. So anyways, with that said, another thing that I like to do is break into buildings. So the easy way and the most common way to do this is put like your cooking stove on a mat. Put it next to the wall with the spoon facing out, and then you can get inside a building. So this is obviously in Charleston, and yeah, you can break into this building. Now this building makes things look really glitchy, but I'm going to show you that you also it doesn't just have to be that. It can be anything with that animation that kind of sucks you in, like a crafting station, right? So I could have used that too, because those cooking stations, although they're small and kind of easy to hide, they can be a pain. Now check this place out. So this is a building that is really close to Welch train station. And this is one of those rare buildings. There's a couple of them out there in the wasteland that when you go inside of this building, it doesn't flicker. It has a couple of spots where like you don't see the walls through them, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So I'm going to get my cooking station over here. And once I get that into place, I'm going to go ahead and break in them out of the building. It's like having a lockpick. And look, see, this one doesn't have any of the flickering or anything. You've got a little bit of it over there by the doorways and the ends, but you can wall that in. So this is one of those rare circumstances where you can do, where you can work inside of a building. So this is a build that I did recently. I'm showing you real quick how you can take things inside and outside of your camp. So you just grab it when you're in free cam mode, and then you can pick it up and switch to mode of first person mode or what have you, and you can bring things in. You can also take things out this way, like so. See, I took this fence back outside and then I grabbed it, switched to first person mode. Now the only way that this works is if you have your settings correct. So when you're outside, like not underground, make sure you start free cam mode with that setting turned to on. So where it says start build cam in start build cam in last location, you want to have that set to on, because if you don't have that set to on, as you're going to see in a second here, I'm going to go ahead and switch that off. What happens is it will automatically pull you underground with your camera every time. So what that means is like you won't be able to grab stuff outside the underground or your building that you're working in to pull it inside. See right here? Look, it starts me right there. Oh, whoops. There, it starts me right there every single time. Every time I switch, it moves me back to that. So the inconvenience in that also is that when you're in free cam or build cam mode inside of, like, say, underground, it automatically tries to pull your camera all the way up to the ceiling, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's really, you can't use free cam or build cam underground very well. But yeah, as you see, I'm going to set this back to on, and because I am outside, it will just allow me to keep that free cam going outside of this thing, so I can pick stuff up and take them away from my build. And this was just a little sneak peek of what that build looked like. This build came out probably about a week ago. I hope you found this helpful for those of you who have been looking to build underground. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a blessed day and stay safe out there.